What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Flippin' pregame show presented by Perry Ellis Fragrances. It is Game 2 of the World Series day. And Alex, we are back live pregame. We got a lot coming your way. We're going to be here at Kobos BBQ across the street. Stadium's right over there. We're going to be talking to fans. We got John Smoltz, a great John Smoltz conversation today. I really liked it. We talked a little bit about what he saw from Justin last night. Talked about what he saw from the Phillies with Nola as well. So really good conversation coming up here in just a few minutes. We got Game 2. This pregame show will take you right up to the start of the game, and the first half inning of the game will be streamed on Twitter. So stay tuned here. But Alex, just the vibe here is great. We're back at Kobos. This is a lot of fun here.
And before we really look ahead, because you can tell everyone's here, they're getting ready for Game 2. Astro fans are ready for a bounce-back game. And before we look ahead to Game 2, we got to talk about that Game 1 a little bit, because we saw a lot of firsts, starting with the Astros losing their very first playoff game this season, and then the very first time a 6 seed has ever won a World Series game, and that is because of this new playoff bracket.
Yep, absolutely. The 6 seed, the Phillies, I can't say it is not enough. They're here because of the new playoff bracket, and they wouldn't be here without the lockout that led to the new structure. Really cool there, but Astros get out to that 5-0 lead, courtesy of Kyle Tucker. It was all Kyle Tucker. He was doing all the damage. First multi-home run World Series game in franchise history.
Crazy. For
Kyle Tucker, and he did it in the first 2 at-bats. He got them out to an early lead. Justin was on the mound, and that lead that was 5-0 dwindled away fairly quickly. He was great the first time through the lineup. They end up getting to him a little bit. JT Realmuto, a big part of that, a huge double off the left center wall. And obviously, we all know about the home run in the 10th inning that broke the tie in extras. Phillies end up winning Game 1, 6-5, and here we are now. Game 2 starts in just a few minutes.
It's so crazy, because coming into this, we both said Phillies need to take one of the games here in Houston. I don't think anyone thought it was going to be Game 1, especially with your brother, the ace, on the mound yesterday. But it's a new day. It's a clean slate. We're looking ahead to Game 2. It's the World Series. Anything can happen. Both these teams are incredible on both sides of the ball. So let's start with the Phillies here. What are your keys for the Phillies to try to get both games here on the road?
Well, I think you mentioned my first point, and this ties very well into it. Everybody thought Game 2 might be the game they had a good chance, because that's where their number one guy, Zack Wheeler, is going. So for me, my first key to the Phillies winning is Zack Wheeler going deeper into the game than Aaron Nola was able to last night.
Yeah.
He's their guy. You need him to go deep into the game. That bullpen was taxed last night. They did a great job using their bullpen, but they used all of their guys out there.
Yeah.
So Zack Wheeler needs to be the ace of the staff, shut the Astros down, and go deeper than Aaron Nola did. So I think Zack Wheeler, you need to get 6. 7 would be great, but you need to get at least 6 innings from Zack Wheeler tonight.
Also considering that neither of the starting pitchers yesterday made it out of the 5th inning, which also I think was uncharacteristic in that moment. But did you give your 2 already, or did you give 1?
Did what?
Did you give 2?
I have 2.
You have 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay.
So this one's a little deeper into baseball and how this pitcher's going to attack them. Framber Valdez going for the Houston Astros tonight. Framber Valdez relies heavily on his incredible curveball.
Yes.
The Phillies are a free swinging team.
Yes, they are.
The Phillies need to make Framber get his curveball up in the zone. That's where they're going to do the damage. If they're swinging at those curveballs that are bouncing or low in the zone or just out of the zone, they're going to be in trouble tonight. What they need to do is get Framber's curveball up in the zone, swing at those, do damage on those. If not, it could be a long, long night for the Phillies offense that is very hot, as we know.
They are so hot, which leads me to my key for Philly is they got to keep this playoff magic alive. We see it, a Cinderella story, every playoff across every sport. There's always one team that just kind of surprises everybody, comes out of nowhere, and has that little playoff magic. The Phillies have it. So I say they got to keep that going, keep that never quit attitude that we saw last night, coming back from a 5-run deficit with no sweat. They were totally fine. So I think they keep that going. They might be able to pick up 2 here in Houston. But now let's switch over to the Astros because they badly need to take one here to go back to Philly tied because Philly's not an easy place to win. What are your keys for the Astros to get a win tonight?
Well, you're right. They badly need a win. And as far as must-win games go, this is not one. But it is pretty close. They got to get this done. Now, key for me, Yordan Alvarez, who was the hero of the first couple of games of the postseason, has been very quiet since. Yordan needs to show up. It's the World Series. Back in 2019, that World Series in D.C., that was his first World Series. He wasn't great in that.
Yeah.
Now, to start off this World Series, doesn't have a hit. Yordan needs to show up.
Yeah.
It's time for him to get a hit. It's time for him to start driving some balls. So a key for the Astros will be that centerpiece of their lineup, Yordan Alvarez. He's the dangerous bat. You can obviously point to other guys, Kyle Tucker, who we talked extensively about last night.
Yes, we did.
Yordan's the centerpiece of that lineup. Yordan needs to show up.
I also think Jose Altuve needs to show up. We've been talking about him a lot. He did get a hit last night, but still not looking like the Jose Altuve that we know he can be. And he needs to set the tone. He really needs to step it up, get his batting average, I don't know, over 100?
Over 100.
I don't know. Something like that would be nice. So I think that's really important. Now on the pitching side, what do you think is the key for them?
So this is important. So obviously we know Justin got through 5 last night, and that was it. And you're expecting a little bit more from Framber tonight, right?
Yeah.
Framber Valdez this year broke the single-season quality start streak record. They need a quality start tonight.
Yeah.
So he did it all year long. Things are different in the World Series.
Yeah.
The nerves, the emotions, they're a little bit different. Framber Valdez needs to have a quality start tonight, continue the quality start magic that he had all year long, and the Astros will, if that happens, hopefully be able to do enough on the offensive side to support him. But it all starts with pitching, as we saw last night. The pitching is key. Aaron Nola wasn't great to start. Justin was great to start, and then they flip-flopped. Nola ended up doing enough. Justin gave up that 5-0 lead, and then the bullpen took it away from there. Framber needs to have a quality start tonight.
But I think both Framber and Wheeler need to have a quality start just to give their bullpen a little bit of a rest. This is going to be a long – I think it's going to be a long series. I called Phillies in 7, so I'm hoping it goes all 7. And you don't want to tax your bullpen this early in back-to-back games. So I think that's extremely important for both these starters to at least make it into the 7th inning.
I agree. I agree with that. Rob Thompson today said Ranger Suarez still available today. You never know. It's the World Series.
Swaggy Suarez?
What are you saving stuff for? Just send your guys out there. So Game 2 coming up in a little while. John Smoltz in just a minute. But first off, need to take a second here just to shout out Kobos, where we are, why we're here. This place is so incredible, and it all started last year. For myself and the Flippin' Bats team, we came here, we met Cobo. He had the most incredible food ready for us, which guess what? He did again today. Alex got to experience the food today.
It is so good. It's like soaked, delicious barbecue meat, brisket in this like hard shell taco that was then seasoned and dipped in something delicious. And then you had macaroni and cheese and brisket in a quesadilla. Mind blown over the food here.
The food is incredible, and last year it all began when we were looking for somewhere to do a meetup, and everybody in Houston, it feels like, reached out and said, Kobos is the place to do it. We listened, we came here, and we have created such an awesome relationship with Cobo himself and the people that come here. So really special to do this here again. We will be doing it every time we are in Houston, so will we be back here? Maybe.
I
and
think
Alex
so.
and I's prediction, we both think we will be back here.
Yeah, at least
once. But this is the last one for now. But Game 2 coming up in just a little while. Stay here. The first half inning will be streamed. But for right now, I talked to John Smoltz just a little while ago, and what a great conversation we had. Alex and I will be back talking to fans. They're all pumped up. Let's check this out now. Here's John Smoltz. Good. All right, we are back. It is Game 2 of the World Series day. Game 1 last night. John Smoltz joining me. John, you called the game last night. Justin against Aaron Nola. Neither of them got past 5 innings. Justin 5 innings. Nola pulled in the 5th. How surprising was it for you to see both of those guys, two studs, not go deep into a game and not have great starts?
Yeah, we thought it would be a tight game, and it was, just not the game at 5-5. You know, it just was a couple pitches here and there make the difference in a postseason game. Everything kind of goes faster than you want it to go. But I thought that early on, both established themselves in a way that Nola gave up some kind of weird hits and then some big hits. And I think that's just the nature of the game. You sometimes have a team that's hot. They don't feel like they can do anything wrong. Philadelphia has all the confidence in the world. The probability of that game, probably if they played it another 100 times, 99 times goes Houston's way. It just went Philly's way, and that's really what's been the postseason so far for Philly. When you think they're out of it, they come back, and they've done everything they have to do so far to be in this position.
Reese Hoskins told me in Philly, we just fight. And there, you can see it every single night. Sticking with Game 1 for a second, can you talk a little bit? I don't know if you did this ever in your career when you were starting, but what the Phillies have done a few different times now with Ranger Suarez, who is one of their starters and potentially and most likely their Game 3 starter, using him in big spots early on in a series, perhaps on a bullpen day. Can you explain that a little bit, how they use him?
Yeah, you got to know the guy, and they know his heartbeat's not going to get him too fast and get him off the plan of knowing that he's got to pitch again. It's not prototypically it works. It doesn't always work, but for the Phillies, everything they've done so far has worked. And knowing Suarez and his ability to come in that last game against San Diego, 2 pitches, 2 outs, they go to the World Series. They did it again. He did his job, even though he gave up a hit. And I just think the calmness of their moves and their buy-in has been working so far. I said from the beginning, and I'll stick with it, a long series doesn't favor Philadelphia. A long series favors Houston. But their formula so far has been pretty good. Steal a game on the road, win all their games at home. This is a different task. They know that getting one's not good enough here. So they're going to look to try to get 2 because Houston has all the capabilities to make this a long series and flex their depth.
So we have Game 2 tonight. Obviously, Philadelphia wins Game 1, and you mentioned it. After this one, we go to Philly 4-3. So in terms of a must-win game, where does this rank for the Houston Astros ahead of heading to Philly for 3?
Well, it is a very big one. I liken the series they had against Washington where neither team won a home game, which is still
I can't stop thinking about that.
One of the most amazing series I've ever done and been part of and watched. So the capabilities are there to win on the road. They won 106 games. The one thing you have to tell your team is as the starting pitcher goes, so does the team. But I think Philadelphia showed Houston that no matter what the score is, the game is well within reach, and that's the one thing I'm sure Dusty's going to say. We need to finish the deal, finish the game. We scored 5, didn't score again, and I think that's going to be the changing factor for their offense. If Houston's offense wakes up, I think they're a tough team to beat. We've seen what Philadelphia's offense has done. It's the reason they're here.
Zack Wheeler on the mound tonight. I think in the eyes of many fans of baseball, Zack Wheeler is a little bit underrated. Maybe they don't know enough about him. Can you explain what fans are going to see tonight when Zack Wheeler takes the mound?
Yeah, he's a lot like Justin in the fact that his fastball pops, but Justin throws his fastball at a higher release point than Wheeler, and Wheeler gets out extension-wise with his foot to about 7.2 feet, so the ball has a hop feeling. I think for the hitters today in Houston, they're going to have to be able to get on time of that fastball because it's going to be at 98, 97, and he's got the breaking stuff to complement it. So for Wheeler, his ability right now in the postseason to quiet the offense has been with that fastball.
If you're the Houston lineup, how do you attack a guy like that? What's the game plan? Is it attack him early, swing often, or try and get deep into counts and get him out of the game early?
Yeah, I think with the way that they used the bullpen yesterday, that would be a great formula, but he's a strike thrower, and so was Nola. I think the biggest thing is know what part of the strike zone you want to hit a fastball to and stay disciplined to it. They've got 3 hitters in Houston that do that well, and then they got 3 hitters that expand the zone and give you outs, and I think that's going to be the difference right now. Where do they go to get outs after their big boys are up? And the bottom part of that lineup has to produce a little bit. It did produce yesterday, but it's going to have to produce in a game like today.
You pitched in many big World Series games. Now you're calling World Series games. last night, Game 1. Where is that rank? Are there still a little nerves when you get in the booth for a World Series game?
I actually love it. I can't wait to get this time of the year. The season's a long one for obviously the players, but this is the moment that you get to see great players do great things, and you get to see unexpected things like we saw last night. I think the win probability was close to 95% for Houston after 2 innings. So that's the kind of stuff you never know how it's going to play out. It was an exciting baseball game. It was a long one, but it didn't feel long because the game was played so well after it got tied. So I think these two teams have a lot of spark. They have a lot of ability to win games, come from behind, and shut teams down. What Philly did last night after the 2nd inning, collectively not giving up another run, is the single most reason why they won.
You mentioned what the win probability probably was. I'd be interested to hear from you, from your perspective, and one of the all-time greats. When it comes to Justin last night, that first time through the order, perfect, was great. What did you see? What changed? What did the Phillies do, or what did Justin do?
You know, there was a moment in the game where, obviously, when you have a long delay in between innings, that means your team's scoring runs, and they did. Sometimes that long delay just gets you out of your mechanics. The only thing I saw is the fastball command, and he was rushing to home plate a little bit. He was so good with his fastball the first time through the lineup, he could have done whatever he wanted to the Philadelphia offense. And then the fastball command just changed enough to where now the team gets a couple hits and they get a couple runs, and you start thinking about things you would normally not think about. And it's normal when you're in the World Series. It might not happen if it was in a division series, but baseball has so much momentum at times where you feel like, oh, if I make that play, we catch that ball, or little things that happen sometimes turn into big things. And I think that was a combination of what Philadelphia did. I felt like 2 outs when they didn't score the run, when Hoskins didn't score the run, and Castellanos got that hit. I felt like that was kind of a backbreaker, you know, a moment to reset, walk around the mound, and those things happen. It wasn't probably exit velocity of 60 miles an hour, but those are the kind of things that sometimes change the momentum for the other team.
I think there were back-to-back backbreakers there with that single, and right before that, if you remember, there was that slow comebacker to Justin, and he thought he caught it and doubled off the runner at first.
That would have been
next thing you know, guy gets to second. He gets the out at first base, and I think he was hoping that was the end of the inning there.
Yeah. The one thing I've always learned in those moments, I've always been a big believer is if you can separate them and get the next pitch. Postseason baseball is going to be the longest mentally game you ever pitch in your life, and you can't get caught up in the narrative of what's happening. You've got to be able to make pitch after pitch after pitch and separate the two, and that's not easy to do because it can snowball and it can change in a hurry. And I think that's part of what happened last night, and certainly you know, Justin will probably get another start, and the fact that you've been there, done that, you make those adjustments when those happen.
John, always fun. Let's do it again tomorrow. Have fun tonight. Let's hope we get a game anywhere close to as what we got in Game 1. That was a good one.
Pretty special.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
All right, we are here at Kobos with a real live astronaut, and his name is
Izzy
the astronaut. Love that. First off, thank you for joining. We got a couple fans that are going to be coming in. My first question to you, because we came from Philadelphia where the fans are crazy and we're going there soon. What makes Astros fans better than Phillies fans?
Oh, man, we're from the South. We got Southern hospitality. We know how to treat people right. Man, bless Philly's heart, but we got it down here. We got that heart down here.
You didn't hear a lot of blessed Phillies.
I was going to say, that's the biggest difference I've noticed. Is even just walking through the stadium, I saw Astros fans kind of giving high five to Phillies fans, and it wasn't an aggressive, angry "get out of here." We're all having a good time and enjoying some baseball.
That's what it's all about. It's all about baseball.
I love it. Okay, so then I got to ask you, what would you do or give up for the Astros to win another World Series?
I'd give up my kidney and probably my 401k.
Kidney and his 401k.
I haven't even had much saved, but I'm ready to give it up for the Astros to win it.
I mean, the kidney's a pretty big thing to give up there.
I got 2 of them. I can
True. We don't. I mean, why do we even? All you need is one.
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
This matchup, this World Series, might be the greatest mascot matchup we've ever gotten.
Yep.
You got Orbit and you got the Philly Fanatic. Who would win in a fight between Orbit and the Philly Fanatic, and why?
I'm gonna have to go Orbit. I'm not being partial or anything, but again, we from the H. We got hands, and that's all I got to say about that. He's taking it.
I love it.
I gotta say,
yeah.
epic. The most epic getup we have seen since we've been here in Houston.
This is great. I appreciate you joining us.
No problem, man.
Off you go.
To the moon! All right, who we got next?
How's it going?
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Sashir. I'm from Minnesota.
You're from Minnesota,
Yeah.
so you just came in for
I
the
live
game.
in Minneapolis. Yes, I do. Yes.
Wow.
I was born in Houston, though.
Okay.
I gotta represent H-Town.
Okay, then you traveled all this way, which says a lot. What makes Astros fans better than Phillies fans?
Well, I gotta tell you. I mean, would you rather have a cheesesteak or would you rather have a Whataburger with jalapenos?
Whoa.
I mean, that's an easy choice.
I
I
think
thought
that's
you were going to say, I
I'm
thought
gonna
you
be
would have
honest.
said barbecue, right?
It's got to be Whataburger. It's got to be Whataburger and Shipley's Donuts.
Wait, can you clarify
we
something for
cannot
me?
get that in Minnesota. I'm just saying.
Is it Whataburger or Waterburger?
It's Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Whataburger, yeah.
I've
Okay.
never tried it.
Okay.
You've never. Wait.
It's okay.
Sounds like a
One of those.
TikTok. Sounds like a TikTok.
I'm quiet.
We gotta try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My question for you.
Go ahead, please.
You're obviously a big Astros fan. All the huge Astros fan base from Minneapolis, which is
Yes.
well known.
It's me, pretty much.
What would you do or give up for a Houston Astros World Series?
Well, I'd move from Minnesota. Hey, that's pretty simple.
Do you want to be there?
It's a nice place. I mean, I got a
you
good
really wanna be
job.
there.
It sounds like you want to do
I got
this.
a good job. I mean, I'm dating a nice girl.
So are you giving her up if you move?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
And before we let you go,
Mr. Chairman, I respectfully plead the fifth.
okay, all right. Now this is also one of the better mascot matchups we have going on. Orbit against Philly the Fanatic. If they were to get in a fight, whose side do you take it?
I would take Orbit, but those Philly guys are tough. I think the Fanatic wins. All I know is Gritty. Gritty would kill them both.
Yeah.
I have nightmares about Gritty. I've seen hockey games in Minnesota. I don't want to mess with Gritty.
Got it.
Thank you for
We
joining us.
appreciate
This has
you.
been
Thank
great.
you.
Man, go Stros. Go ahead.
All right.
This is great. We're now tied with the mascot question,
like
so
it.
we're going to get to that in a little bit. But my first question for you, you're clearly an Astros fan. What makes Astros fans better than Philly fans?
Oh, man, we don't give up on them. We loyal, 6 ALCSs in a row. This is just like, clockwork. Let's just, you know what I mean?
I do, but I will say, for Phillies fans, there was no clockwork. You sense the excitement. You don't want it to feel like clockwork in the stands during the World Series.
Remember back in 09, they took Roy Oswalt from us, so like they want our players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the same thing right now. They're hot. They made the wild card, but we gonna take it.
All right.
We're gonna get one. We're gonna get one.
Speaking of taking things away,
Yes, ma'am.
what would you give up, take out of your life, whatever it's going to be, for the Astros to win
super
another
easy,
World
super
Series?
Easy. We can move the Texans to another city. The Rockets can go to Miami, Dynamo. Like, I don't care. We need one franchise in Houston, Texas. That's the Houston Astros. Hey, I love all sports. I'm
Yeah.
a big sports head, but
Yeah.
you know what? It's about the Houston Astros right now. I would love to just have one franchise because that's all I care about. I'm sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry. He's sorry.
Bye,
Rockets,
Houston sports.
Texans.
You're
Don't
outta
take too much
here.
offense to it. This is a great mascot matchup that we have.
Right.
Orbit, a legend. The Philly Fanatic, also a legend.
Right.
If they were to get into a fight, who's winning that fight and why?
Orbit definitely is going to win because he's all about the H. This guy pulls up to Dynamo Stadium, celebrate the birthdays. He pulls up to the Rocket Stadium, and was it Philly Fanatic? Is that him? He just looks like a video game character. He just looks kind of scary, you know what I mean? Just like the Phillies. So, you know what? I'm going to give it all day to my boy Orbit, and it is what it is.
So you're saying the Phillies look scary, the players.
The mascot.
Just the mascot looks scary.
It looks kind of weird.
Scary like Phillies. Like Philly people because they're aggressive. I don't know. Is that where you were going with it?
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate
Okay.
you for joining us.
You got it, Ben.
Thank you.
you.
All right, batter up. Who's next?
This is great. I love these answers. This is just great.
You've been around I've been watching you just all around this place since we got here. So I got
energy. I'm ready.
I love it. I can
I'm about to
tell.
walk to the stadium right now after this interview. Let's go.
Now I can already tell you're a big Astros fan. So I gotta know, why are Astros fans better than Philly fans?
Man, We're diehards. We don't give up on our teams. We're there for them. We're going to cheer for them, down and out. We're there. Always, always.
You said you don't give up on your team, but what would you give up for a World Series championship for your team?
Whatever it takes, I'll do whatever it takes. I quit my job right now to get a World Series.
What's your
Facts.
job?
I'm a UPS driver.
Okay. Good luck getting all those packages.
Exactly.
Houston's going to have a problem, and it's going to be a lack of packages being delivered.
We need that.
I'm Santa Claus right now. But we're gonna make it. We're good. Astros, I guarantee you, they're gonna make it happen.
All right. Now you heard us asking a couple of your friends up here. We got to know your take. It's a great mascot matchup. So who are you taking, Orbit or the Philly Fanatic in a fight?
This is the easiest questions I ever answered.
Okay.
Orbit.
Why?
Cause he comes with the smoke. Like anybody don't want to pull up,
All right.
they gonna just it's a wrap. Like
Alright.
a fight.
Yeah.
Orbit, first round knockout.
Done. KO. KO bye.
First round
KO.
knockout.
Mayweather, Canelo. Let's go.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right.
We got a first round. Everybody's saying Orbit, which I don't think. Oh, we have it. We got another one. Let's go. What's your name?
How are you, Yesenia? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us. First off, clearly an Astros fan, decked out. What makes Astros fans better than Phillies fans?
The passion. We do not give up whether our team is down up 5-0, even though we lost yesterday. But we don't give up because we come back. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, we always come back. So we're going to be there regardless. Win or lose, our passion is next level.
All right.
Well, if they win and come back and go all the way and win the World Series, what's something you would give up to get an Astros ring?
I may give up one of my kids.
Oh.
I may set them up.
Hope you're not listening, kids. Mom's choosing the Astros.
I'm dropping them off at the fire station.
Oh!
Savage. That's savage.
I'll tell you who's not dropping him off at the fire station is him, because he ain't going to be delivering anything anymore.
He's gone. He's gone. That's it.
That's a good one. All right, I like that. All right, so you've heard us ask this a few times, but there's 2 great mascots involved in this series, and I don't know how much you know about the Philly Fanatic, but he's a great as well. Orbit and the Philly Fanatic, who are you taking in a fight?
I'm going to take Orbit all day because he's hood. He's from the South. We just know how to throw hands.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Pretty much overwhelmingly, Orbit is going to win in that fight.
I figured that was going to be the case with a bunch of Astros fans. Thank you so much for joining us.
Who you got winning tonight?
Astros, let's go!
Yeah. All right. We got one more fan here. I wouldn't even call it
What's
fan.
up, man?
How's it going?
He talks about Astros all day, every day. So you know Astro fans probably better than anybody. What makes them better than Phillies fans?
Well, I think we know that every game, every day is new. No matter what happens, whether you win or lose, you got to put the work in. You got guys like Bregman. You got guys like even Jose Altuve and his struggles. They know how to work, and they know that today is the most important day. Forget about tomorrow. Don't even worry about the next day. And we believe that we can earn this title. I don't think the Astros are fully out of it right now. I think if they split right here, then the Astros can still win in 6 or 7.
If the Astros do win, okay, the Astros win a championship, what would you give up to ensure that the Houston Astros win the World Series this year?
I would give up my Ted Williams and Ken Griffey Jr. autographed baseballs that I got in person.
Whoa.
I would.
You got in person?
In person. I've got a ball signed by Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. on the sweet spot, and I've got a ball signed by Ted Williams.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow. That's a big give up.
That is.
That's a big give up. All right, one last one before you go. Who's winning in a mascot fight? Orbit or Philly Fanatic?
Well, I don't know if you've seen Orbit's training routine, but it's insane.
I have not.
It's like Rocky IV on steroids.
All right.
Orbit knows how to put on the shenanigans.
Yeah.
And the Philly Fanatic's got this big schnoz that kind of gets in his way. Orbit will totally go under that and take him out. Like, it would be like WWE when I saw Hulk Hogan take down that giant in the Sam Houston Coliseum back in the 1980s here in Houston.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Orbit clearly winning the fight here in Houston amongst fans. Alex, it is prediction time.
Yes,
Game
it is.
2 is
Yes,
just
it
a
is.
few minutes away. Stick here through the first half inning of the game. It will be streamed right here. Prediction time. Do you want me to go first or you going first?
I'll go first.
Go first.
Okay. I think the Astros are going to take the game tonight. I thought they were going to take yesterday's game, so I was wrong yesterday. But I think they bounce back, especially having a 5-run lead, losing it, and then also losing it in extra innings. I think the Astros come back, win it big tonight.
All right. I like that. I like your prediction. I'm with you. I don't think there's a world in which the Astros lose both at home before they head to Philly. So I'm going to say we head to Philly with a split. The Astros win. Framber throws great. Zack Wheeler also throws great, but doesn't go super deep in the game. Astros get to the bullpen. I'm going to say 5-2. Astros win Game 2. That is my prediction.
All right, so another 5-run game for the Astros.
Another 5-run game for the Astros. This time it will be enough. So that does it for the Flippin' Bats pregame show presented by Perry Ellis Fragrances. What a blast, and I can't thank Cobo enough wherever he is right now. This place is incredible, and if you don't know about it, come on over here before games, any game, any sport. Kobos is the place. Can't thank him enough. We're heading over to the stadium now. Game 2 coming right up. Stick right here for the first half inning of the game, and Alex and I will see you post-game. Peace.
And remove your caps for the presentation of our nation's colors. Presenting the colors this evening, our honor guard, the United States Navy Color Guard. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome Grammy Award-winning country music superstars, Little Big Town. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
All right, so it's game 2 coming up next on Fox, the first pitch, and the guys calling it for you, Joe Davis and John Smoltz, right after this. Enjoy.
After a Game 1 classic, we are set from Houston, Texas for Game 2 of the World Series. The Philadelphia Phillies rally to win Game 1 in 10 innings, and the Houston Astros try to get this series even up at a game apiece. Welcome inside with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis. For the Phillies, really the story of their season became the story of Game 1. They fall way behind. Nobody gives them a chance to come back. They do. They take a 1-0 series lead.
Well, in the new playoff formula, they have checked every box. Win on the road, haven't lost at home, big comeback, 2-out RBIs, great pitching performances. The Philadelphia Phillies have done everything you can do to surprise the world and are 3 wins away from winning the World Series. But normally you want to split. I would say with their ace on the mound, they want to go back 2-0 to that place where they haven't lost.
And of course, the Astros' clear advantage when it comes to starting pitching in games 3 and 4, adding to that feeling for the Phillies. As far as the Astros go, John, they got 5 runs over the first few innings. Looked like they were off and rolling. Didn't score from there. And bottom line, they got 2 of the best hitters in baseball who got to start hitting like it.
2 of the best hitters whose last names start with an A, so the A's got to get going, and that is Altuve and Alvarez. When you think about what they've been able to do, historically, these guys come up big. It's been a struggle of late, and if the Astros are going to get up going offensively, these 2, especially Altuve, he gets on base, he can make so much happen. This offense is capable. They have not really been a juggernaut in the postseason. They need to start tonight.
All right, for more on Altuve, we go down to the field with Tom Verducci.
Well, thanks, Joe. Only Aaron Judge slugged better against fastballs this year than Jose Altuve. But in the postseason, the Astros are missing that version of their catalyst. He's hitting 108, but the shocking part, just 2 for 24 against fastballs. Now, hitting coach Alex Cintron said Altuve is late on fastballs. He's too jumpy in the box and late getting his foot down. And tonight, he sees Phillies starter Zack Wheeler averaging 97 on his fastball. The Astros need Altuve to figure it out fast. Now here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Tom. Rob Thompson plans for Zack Wheeler to throw 80 to 90 pitches tonight, right around his postseason average. That number has gotten Wheeler through at least 6 innings in each of his starts, and it would behoove the Astros, a team that does not normally see a lot of pitches, to somehow make him work harder. The Phillies used all of their high-leverage relievers last night, including Zach Eflin and Sir Anthony Dominguez, each for 20 or more pitches. The longer this series goes, the more the Astros' pitching depth becomes an advantage. They need to start pressing that advantage tonight. Joe.
Zack Wheeler for the Phillies, Framber Valdez for the Astros. Game 2 of the World Series is coming up after a thriller in Game 1. It looked like it was going to be all Astros, and then the Phillies kept on coming. JT Realmuto, the Game 1 hero. What does Game 2 have in store? It's the Astros, it's the Phillies, it's Game 2 of the Fall Classic, and it's next on Fox.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
A work of art takes time, requires patience. The vision always ahead of the execution. Once you find the right tools and the perfect canvas, the imagination takes over.
Welcome to the World Series. Kyle Tucker owning Game 1. Realmuto with a go-ahead shot. Phillies take Game 1.
Strokes of a brush. Little details emerging, manifesting into the bigger picture. Who will create their masterpiece tonight? Game 2 of the World Series.
Man, how talented is Lauren Taylor, the Sports Artist of the Year, getting us ready for Game 2 of the World Series on Fox, presented by Capital One. We are inside again at Minute Maid Park after the Phillies take Game 1. Framber Valdez for the Astros trying to get this series evened up as it heads back to Philadelphia for Game 3 on Monday. 28 years old out of the Dominican Republic is Framber Valdez. He just keeps on getting better. He's in his 5th season in the majors. Really just his 3rd one in the rotation, and the first one of those seasons was the short 2020 campaign. Last year was interrupted by injury, missed the first couple of months with a finger injury. First full year here, and in the postseason, John, he's made 2 starts. The Astros have won them both.
Well, they're going to need a great outing for him and the Astros to even this series. Look, we talked about the contrasting styles of pitching yesterday. Verlander, tall release point, top of the zone. Nola, lower release point, bottom of the zone, east and west. It's going to be the opposite again. You're going to want Valdez to be down in the zone, short strider, great spin on his breaking ball, and one of the longest strides and longest points of release, Wheeler. So really kind of opposite styles if you're looking at home trying to figure out why they're successful. Valdez, great late sinking action and one of the best curveballs you're going to see.
Fired up for this pitching matchup, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at the lineup that Framber Valdez is going to face off with in Game 2. It's a little different at the bottom given the left-handed starter, but at the top, it's just how it's looked all postseason long. And all 5 of those guys at the top of the order scored a run for the Phils last night. The difference is Verlander in center and Sosa at short. It's been the case any time they faced a left-handed starter in this October run. Behind the plate tonight is Pat Holberg, 36 years old. He makes his World Series debut. He's got all his friends and family here from Iowa. So living his own dream as he gets to call balls and strikes here in Game 2. And he is, you're talking about the low strikes being key for Framber Valdez. He tends to lean that way, gives pitchers the bottom of the zone.
Well, that'll be key for Valdez, who pitches off the third base side of the rubber, straight line leg to home plate with really good action on his pitches. He can pitch up, but he'd rather pitch down and then use that curveball.
Won Game 2 of the championship series with a sterling performance against the Yankees. And off we go in Game 2 of the World Series. Strike 1 on Schwarber.
And what you're going to see out of Valdez is most pitchers fall off one side to the other. He lands, sticks the landing, and just right in the middle after he throws it, ready to field the pitch.
Inside here, 1 ball, 1 strike. And this Phillies offense found itself in a 5-0 hole while the national anthem was still echoing here through the stadium. And then they got 3 runs in the 4th. They got 2 runs in the 5th and completed the largest comeback in the World Series in 20 years. Schwarber starting Game 2. He's ahead 2 balls and 1 strike. The Phillies have now played in 4 series in this postseason. They've been the road underdog in all 4, and they've won Game 1 in all 4.
Yeah, that's a great start to returning home to home field advantage. You got to win at least 1 on the road, and they've done it every series.
3-1 on Schwarber. You know what the interesting thing is with this Phillies offense, John, is that, yeah, they've got these big boppers, and they're hitting home runs. They've got 16 in their last 8 games. But they're also hitting above 300 with runners in scoring position.
And that's been the biggest key. That's why you win games.
Schwarber with a hot shot up the middle. Well-positioned Pena for the first out of the night. Pena is part of this Astros defense. Different look in the outfield tonight. Aledmus Diaz draws the start in left field. Yordan Alvarez does the DHing. McCormick's in center and Tucker's in right. Bregman and Pena left side of the infield with Altuve and Gurriel on the right, and Martin Maldonado catching.
If Valdez is on his game, it won't be a boring day for the infield. Matter of fact, the infield will have a lot of action. The ball on the ground, nobody does it better with ground balls. The one key again, though, he doesn't throw a ton of strikes early, meaning if he goes strike one, Phillies got their work cut out for him. But the first 2 out of 3 pitches, usually a low percentage of strikes. And that breaking ball, he doesn't throw as much for strikes as you would think, because he wants hitters to chase and expand the zone. He's not afraid to pitch behind an account, but it's usually not the recipe for success.
1-0 on Rhys Hoskins, and he faced these Phillies back on the final day of the regular season, struck out 10 over 5 innings. And the curveball you're talking about, he's leaned down more and more in this postseason. Against the Yankees, he got 16 swings and misses on that pitch.
It's so late in breaking, you can't do it a justice at home. We're going to try and show you why. He has more tilt and vertical break in that pitch, along with a couple other curveball artists.
Foul.
And that would be Rich Hill, the left-hander, and Adam Wainwright, the right-hander. And there's the kind of stats that you need to know. That RPM, or spin rate, is pretty high, and you see the average. He just creates a lot of tilt to it and has a lot of late break.
Well, most international prospects sign when they're 16. Framber didn't sign until he was 21 years old, and the thing that made the Astros get intrigued was that spin rate on that breaking ball. 2-2 on Hoskins.
And again, when it's right, it's starting in the strike zone and ending up outside the strike zone, meaning down, because that 2-seam sinker is going to be in the bottom part of the strike zone to the hitter. Now, Hoskins, good low ball hitter. The Phillies have a couple good low ball hitters that would match up strength against strength against Valdez.
Hoskins 2-1 for 5 in game 1. On a 2-2 from Valdez. It's curved, that's tap foul. Astros trying to get this series tied up 1-1.
I mean, that's just 2 fingers and letting it rip out in front of him. The follow through is outstanding.
Roxon fires another 2-2. It takes off on him, and the count goes full. A couple longer at bats to begin this game for the Phillies. Framber Valdez trying to write a new story in the World Series. He's done so many good things the last couple of years, but the big blemishes have come in the World Series. Got blown up in both his World Series starts last year. His 3-2 to Hoskins is inside, and the Phillies have their first base runner of the game. It's on a walk from Hoskins, and it brings up the game 1 hero, JT Realmuto. And we take a look at our player resumes, sponsored by Indeed. First extra innings home run in franchise history for the Phillies, and the first one by a catcher since Carlton Fisk kept it fair in 1975. He said, look, you know, we've been having a different hero just about every game, and he's had some good moments in the postseason, but he said, I figure, you know what, maybe it's my turn to be that guy, my turn to be the hero. And he was, tying the game with the double in the 5th inning and winning it with a homer in the 10th. First one here is in there for a strike.
Well, they went the other way with that home run, and he had 17 opposite field home runs since last year, so very capable and a huge opposite field home run. Now, change-ups and pitches down, he'll have a lot of ground balls. Look for Valdez to try to induce that ground ball double play to get him out of the inning.
Good breaker right there for strike 2.
It just seems so easy coming out of his hands. See how he lands on that leg and keeps his drive leg almost up in the air. Tremendous balance and effortless. Looks effortless when he throws. There's the line he wants to be on. That line is basically for a pitcher's idea that he wants to land his foot on what would be the inside part of that line towards the plate, not towards third base, but towards first base. That's where he wants his foot to land. That's just a key for him and a lot of pitchers.
Hoskins at first, one gone. First inning. 0-2 pitch. 3 straight curves to Realmuto, who takes the first one. And it's 1-2. It's a pitch that Framber Valdez learned as a teenager in the Dominican Republic. Named it El Hatza, Spanish for the axe. Life-changing pitch for the 28-year-old. Who fires 1-2, and a fastball is high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's the thing with Valdez. I mean, for a guy who has been so good, only about 55% he throws his fastball for a strike. That's a lower percentage for a guy who relies on a lot of ground balls and a lot of action. Early on, getting some deep counts after he got 0-2 on JT.
Goes 2-2, comes back home and strikes him out. Back to that curveball to finish off Realmuto for his first strikeout of the game.
Well, here's strength on strength right now from a strength point of this breaking ball that you saw him get JT. He throws a lot of breaking balls against left-handers, but guess who's pretty good at hitting breaking balls? Bryce Harper.
Shocker. He's just about good at hitting everything these days. 2 more hits in game 1 of this World Series, hitting .426 with 5 home runs in this postseason for the ages. Kind of hitter in the kind of zone that can carry a team, carry an underdog to an upset. 1 ball, no strikes. I mean, you mentioned him being a good curveball hitter, so you go hard, but he's hitting above 500 against hard stuff in the postseason. How in the world are you pitching this guy right now?
Well, this is more like strength on strength. Yesterday, Verlander had the advantage with the ability to throw the ball up in the zone and get swings and misses up in the zone. And once, Justin lost that feel for up in the zone, the Phillies were able to come back and rally and score 5 runs against him.
The 1-0 pitch. Strike 1. Not too many times this postseason we've seen Harper take the first 2 pitches.
No, he's definitely looking for a certain part of the plate. Normally he gets aggressive. Maybe he's even looking for that curveball. And you can go up there and sit on a pitch when you know a high probability you're going to get it. At some point, Valdez is going to have to bust him in with that sinker to get him off the curveball, or at least allow the curveball to be a better weapon.
Is 1-1, is a fastball, and it's grounded foul, 1-2.
I doubt he'll do it, but up and in is the hole. Up and in, left on left. If you leave it over the middle third of the plate, not good.
Hoskins off first as the 1-2 comes home from Valdez. He runs, and a fly ball to left center field. Aledmus Diaz is there, and that's a scoreless top of the first inning for Framber Valdez. Zack Wheeler takes the ball for the Phillies when you come back.